Yo. Project 95 returns. I made it to Seattle after my first bout of car trouble. Made it to Seattle, and it hit different because I felt like I had a home away from home. Staying at Spencer's house was just I like using the term base camp. As a base camp, it was so awesome. Because just knowing knowing you have a place to stay, knowing there's going to be people around, knowing you have these shows, like I said, I explained in another video, I was going to be there for a week, and of just hanging out and going to shows, basically. Because I think we did, from his house, we did like 5 shows, basically. They were spread out over the course of that week. So I made it, and as you can see right there, I highly recommend investing in a Nuvo tape deck. It's $19.95 over here now, because it's $19.95 in the year 1995 in a box if you need it. If you're looking for that, mine was a Christmas gift from my children that I asked for. So you probably have to ask for it. This is giving me it's giving 1995. Let's just put it that way. So I'm so happy to be in Seattle. I'm so happy to be around like people who I've only known them for like 5 days, but it was a very quick connection, especially with Spencer. And we bonded over Caddyshack quotes. Like, at least in 1995, maybe it's a different thing now, but we kind of, I'd throw out a Caddyshack quote and see if he got it, and he did. Then we were kind of just feeling each other out, and I mean, within a couple hours, it was like, all right, I can fuck with this guy. But it was just great, again, to be in Seattle, to have like a home, and to now we're in Seattle, so like that's where Chris and Spencer were from. So I got to meet some of their friends from like that they grew up with, who weren't on tour but went to the Seattle shows with us. I think they went out to Spokane with us too. And they're pictured, 2 of them are pictured in the initial post there. Miriam and Brian Goldman, and Spencer is the other one that is pictured there. So that's kind of what we were up to. And these shows kind of, again, it's the first back-to-back, right, 2-night run, which was nice again. And this one, just the Baby Gramps opener, I don't know how I would describe him. He's this old, he was like a grandpa, kind of, hence the name. He had a very, like a Hit Go, the David Alan Grier in Living Color character that none of you probably remember. He used to play this old, like, the sketch character was this just blues guitar guy, right, on the corner. And he would say, wrote a song about it, like the hit go. That's the vibe I get from Baby Gramps. It was cool. Like, Phish rarely has anybody open for him, as you know. But they did on this tour a couple times. This was Baby Gramps. They had fucking Medeski, Martin, and Wood open for them. Like, what? Like that. We'll get to that, obviously. But Baby Gramps was this. I remember we got in GA right up front, Fishman side. I've always been a Fishman side guy. He, to me, is the most entertaining person to watch play, for sure. And just most fascinating to watch play as well. So Jam Boys have largely been Fishman side guys. Remember, this is the original lineup. So this is Page, Trey, Mike, Phish across the stage. So I was always a Fishman side guy. And the first set's pretty standard for this tour, right? You got Fog That Surrounds in there, still tinkering with that. You got Feed, which is, as you know, if you've been paying attention, Theme from the Bottom, I thought was called Feed from the Bottom. And yeah, it's the first set's just, the big thing was the chess. This chess game was kind of taking over, right? They played night moves during it. I'm writing down the moves, like I know even what it means. Bishop takes rook. Oh, yeah. And then what? Tell me more about it. I can't do that. But I remember being up front, and this is why, like, now I could care less. I could not care less about being on the rail or even on the floor, for that matter. I've done it, dude. Like, so many times. It's like boring to me to be on the floor. In fact, not wanting to be on the floor has gotten me out of some scrapes in the past. But being that close, again, like, just this feeling of just joy and contentment is all I had for this whole week. And it was it's hard to put into words, to be honest with you. But I'm listening. I have right now the second set. They just played Jazz Jam again. This song they call Jazz Jam. It's still pretty tight. Like, it's a good one. It's funny to go back and listen to these old versions of songs. Like, they're playing Gin right now, so I kind of know where it's going, right? Certainly it's exploratory, but the demand for 20-minute jams, this time hunting that people do, like, if it's not 20 minutes, fuck it, I don't want to hear it. It just wasn't a thing. Like, if you got a 20-minute something or other, it was cool, but it wasn't the defining thing about the song was not its length. Like, you're the reason people hate Phish. Like, stop caring about how long it is. I mean, I get saying, oh man, they played a 23-minute whatever, but had they played a 12-minute whatever, it could have been just as good. So it's 95 Phish walked so that 2025 Phish could run, I guess. So there's those stark differences too in listening back. And we were talking about it before, like there's like a crispness, there's an energy, it's snappy, it's almost frenetic, and they're 30 years old, so like they're different, obviously, but it's certainly something to be revered, I think, and not necessarily pushed aside or frowned upon because, oh, this bathtub gin's only 10 and a half minutes. So my notes are, there's a big development in my show notes. The antelope at the end of the to close out the second set has a question mark. Now, a question mark is sort of jack of all trades, in that a question mark equals an exclamation point, but it's an exclamation point that's basically saying, what now? They're playing antelope now? So if you ever see a question mark, it's usually I'm perplexed or pleasantly surprised or just befuddled by the song choice. And it usually happens at the ends of sets so here they played Lizards, and everybody in the room was like, oh, this is it. This is the closer, right? Do that beautiful Lizards fade out. That's it. Close it down, come out, day in the life. Like clockwork, right? So when they wind up Lizards and you hear I was like, antelope? Question mark? Antelope! Exclamation point. So the exclamation point, and I think this is the first one, other than the ones of sheer I don't know what it is. Like Jazz Jam has had one or two exclamation points next to it the whole tour so far. This is a sort of an exclamatory question mark. So it's like, oh, okay. I like that. And then this is also the debut of Trey on percussion, which would kind of it was a divisive move on Trey's part. I didn't care for it for the most part, but if you read stuff from this era, Trey was trying to not be the focal point all the time. So he had this little percussion kit set up next to the piano, and I don't know what, like cowbells and fucking whatever, just a real little kit. And he would, Fall 95, I want to say exclusively, I'm not sure they used it much after that, if at all, but he would, in the middle of a jam, he'd kind of wander over there, and you couldn't really hear it great. I understood like the why, but not for me. It was huge and free. They're gonna play Free. Have they played Free yet? they have played Free. If you remember the Free, these are pre-funk Frees. These Frees, I hated Free. Because they would do the verse, chorus, verse, and then the jam would just be like noise. Like for, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes. And eventually Trey would just put down a loop or something, some distortion thing. And then he would go just clank, clank, clank. Yeah. That was what he was doing. So he did it a lot in the song Free. I think it was just like to make it less guitar heavy, or, you know, they're always trying to remove the ego, right? He was trying to get out of the way and let the other band members lead. So yeah, all these Frees are pre-shadung-dunk, shadung-dunk. Yeah, it's kind of another interesting song transformation over the years. You see the single exclamation point on Simple. It's a very big one. Now, that probably counts for 2. If I'm interpreting myself, that's like that's a big one. I even colored in the dot at the bottom. So Slave, Phish picked up the vacuum. I don't even know, he didn't come out, but just in that sort of outro vamp, he kind of just did a little, just in the din, like cutting through the din a little bit. So this show, we're off and running, right? Shoreline was this first peak, and it was like, okay, everybody on tour. I don't know how many people were touring. I kind of want to say in the thousands of people who were like me, like going, you know, show to show. But we were on tour, it felt like, and they start bringing it the next night in Seattle. The next night is nice. And we're on our way, basically. So hopefully you're all caught up, and you're ready for tomorrow's show. So I'll see you tomorrow, just right here in Seattle.